Hey Slayers out there, DTM Shadow Slayer here, and welcome to my deck profile for Yu-Gi-Oh! Season 2. But before we start this, if you're wondering why Velocity ended so soon, that was only a short prequel series to what's really going to happen in this series. And I think you're really going to like it. It's going to be a lot more intense than the last one, and there's going to be quite a few dark themes in it, as you're going to see in the next season, I believe the first episode. So, before we get into anything else in the deck profile, first off we're going to see is my 3 Blue Eyes White Dragons. Now, quick fact, Blue Eyes White Dragon was my first card that I ever had, and is my all-time favourite, and I've always used Blue Eyes White Dragon in one of my decks. Even if it's just one Blue Eyes White Dragon, there's always been a Blue Eyes White Dragon in my deck. It's quite a powerful card, 3000 attack, 2500 defense. Nothing really that special about it, it's only a normal type monster, and you can get it out quite easily in this deck, which I like about it. Next, Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon. I can special summon this card by removing from play one of my face-up dragon type monsters, for example Blue Eyes or any of these other dragons down here. And once per turn during my main phase, I can special summon one dragon type monster except Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon from my hand or graveyard. Now, it's not a big deal if monsters in this deck get banished, because I have Returned from a Different Dimension, which is... I have forgot to put a card in here. Card of not card, yeah, it was Card of Demise, wasn't it? No, it wasn't, it was Pot of Desires. Pot of Desires, there it is. I'm going to put that next to Pot of Greed there. So yeah, I've got Return to Different Dimension, so Pot of Desires, it sends 10 cards from the top of my deck face down into the graveyard. It can either screw me over or be very useful. But I have Return from a Different Dimension, just in case. Alright, next is Blue Eyes Alternative White Dragon. Now, Blue Eyes Alternative White Dragon is like Blue Eyes White Dragon, except with an added effect. I can reveal a Blue Eyes White Dragon in my hand, special summon it, and I can just destroy one monster my opponent controls, and it can't attack the turn that effect activates. Very useful. One of my favourite cards in the game. Next, Felgrand the Great Divine Dragon, or Divine Dragon Lord Felgrand as it's also known. This was given to me by Orion at the end of the series, and if this card is special summoned from the graveyard, I can target one monster my opponent controls in their graveyard, banish it, and if I do, this card gains the attack and defense equal to the banished monster's original level or rank times 100. If this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, I can target one level 7 or 8 dragon type monster in the graveyard, except this card, and special summon it to the field. Now this card can easily get over 3000 attack, easily. And I can special summon it in so many ways, such as Return the Dragon Lords, Pot of Greed, or Archgrave Dragon, which works very well with it. Because if this card is special summoned from the graveyard, I can banish as many face-up spell or trap cards as my opponent controls as is possible, and if I do, this card gains 200 attack and defense for each of those banished cards. Once per turn during the standby phase, if this card is in the graveyard because it was sent there last turn, I can target one level 7 or 8 dragon type monster, Felgrand, and special summon it. And I can special summon this one again with Return of Dragon Lords or Monster Reborn. There's so many ways to special summon it. Next, Bright Star Dragon. Works very well with Maiden with Eyes of Blue, which helps me to get out Blue Eyes White Dragon. When this card is normal summoned, I can target Maiden one card, except this card, and increase that target's level by 2 until the end phase. I'm targeting Maiden, activate her effect, get out Blue Eyes. Also helpful to synchro summon next to summon because it increases levels. Next, Manager of the 10,000 Hands. When this card is normal flip summoned, I get to add a ritual card, whether it be monster or spell, and add it to my hand. Now, unless this is already in my hand, I'm going to bring out Chaos Form, as this is the only card that can mill Chaos Form out of my deck and add it to my hand. If that's in my hand, I'll get up Blue Eyes Chaos Max Dragon, and then I'll get that out, and that is a massive power play on my field, because this inflicts double piercing, as it will be shown later on. Next, Honest. Very useful for getting me out of sticky situations. For example, if I have a weak monster on the field, Sangan for example, in attack mode, my opponent will attack that monster, Honest, I gain that monster's attack, and their monster's destroyed, and that can save me and possibly win me the duel. It's only until the end phase though. Next, Protector of the Shrine. Again, very useful for getting out Blue Eyes, and very useful for getting me out of tight situations. We treat it as 2 tributes for the tribute summon of the dragon type monster. Any of these. While this card is face up on the I can't speak. While this card is in my hand or graveyard, if a face-up dragon type monster on the field is sent to the graveyard because of a card effect or being destroyed in battle, except Keeper of the Shrine, you can special summon this card. Then, if that's okay, retake. Next is Protector of the Shrine, or Keeper of the Shrine as it's also known. This card can be treated as 2 tributes for the tribute summon of a dragon type monster. Any of these along here. Oh god, just got rid of it. Lol. Accidentally right-clicked. Keeper of the Shrine. There we go. This card is treated as 2 tributes for the tribute summon of a dragon type monster while this card is in my hand or graveyard. If a face-up dragon type monster on the field is sent to the graveyard because of a card effect or being destroyed by battle, except for Keeper of the Shrine, I can special summon this card. Then if at least one of those monsters in my graveyard is a dragon type normal monster, I can add that dragon type normal monster from the graveyard to my hand. I can only use the effect of Keeper of the Shrine once per turn. So easy for getting out Blue Eyes and easy for bringing back from the grave to save me from another attack. Or if it's not another attack, I can bring out Blue Eyes next turn if it's in my hand. Next, Sangan. When this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, I get to add a monster with 1500 or less attack from my deck to my hand. Any of these along here. Any of these. I cannot activate the effects of monsters with the same name for the rest of the turn. I can only use this effect of Sangan once per turn. So very useful for draw power again. Next, my 3 Cats of Ill Omen. When these are face down defense, when they're attacked, flip summon them. When they get any of these traps to my hand, it will be mainly Mirror Force, Tyrant Wing, or Crush Card Virus, as these will be used with the Fang of Critias. Let's get out these 3. Also, Crush Card Virus works very well with any of my Dark Monsters, all 5 of them. Next is Ancient White Stone. Very, very useful here. Ancient White Stone, if it's into the graveyard during the end phase of that turn, I can bring out Blue Eyes from my deck. Also, it's got a second effect where I can banish this to add a dragon type monster, a Blue Eyes monster, sorry, from my graveyard to my hand. Very useful for drawing up Blue Eyes, lots of draw power from my main monster, which is Blue Eyes White Dragon. Also, Tuna Monster to get out my Synchros. Next is Priest with Eyes of Blue. When this card is, or Master with Eyes of Blue, it's also known. When this card is normal summoned, I can target one level 1 light Tuna Monster into my graveyard and add to my hand. I can shuffle this card from my graveyard into the deck, then target one effect monster I control, and send that to the graveyard, Ancient White Stone. Where was I? Send that to the graveyard. Other than the sent monster. What? I've lost where I was. Send it to the graveyard, and if I do, I can special summon one Blue Eyes monster from my graveyard. Again, any of these 3. And I can also use the effect of Master Advisor Blue only once per turn. I'm only going to run one of these. They're not incredibly useful, I don't find. And also, this is only a roleplay deck, not competitive. Next, Sage with Eyes of Blue. Normally I would have 2 of these, but this is a roleplay deck. I want to be too overpowered. When this card is normal summoned, I can have one level 1 light tuna monster from my deck to my hand, except Sage with Eyes of Blue, Maiden, Priest, Ancient White Stone, except Sage with Eyes of Blue. I can discard this card to target one effect monster I control and send it to the graveyard, again, Ancient White Stone. And if I do, I special summon a Blue Eyes monster from my deck, Blue Eyes White Dragon, Blue Eyes Alternative. And I can only use the effect of Sage with Eyes of Blue once per turn. Like I said, normally I'd run 2 or 3 of these in the competitive deck, but this is only for a roleplay. Next, Maiden. Not much needs to be said, very famous card. Again, normally I would run 3 of these. When this card is targeted for an attack, I can negate the attack, and if I do, change the card to the battle position. So then if it's attacked again, it saves my life points. I can then special summon one Blue Eyes White Dragon from my hand, deck, or graveyard. When this face-up card is targeted by a card effect, I can again special summon one Blue Eyes White Dragon from my hand, deck, or graveyard. I can only use the effect Maiden with Eyes Blue once per turn. Again, one of my favourite cards in the game. Next, Blue Eyes Chaos Max Dragon. One of my favourite Blue Eyes cards, if not my favourite. I can ritual summon this card using Chaos form. Must be ritual summoned, cannot be special summoned in other ways, cannot be targeted or destroyed by my opponent's card effect, so Mirror Force and destroy it. Blue Eyes Alternative doesn't destroy it. If this card attacks a defense position monster, inflict double piercing damage, 4000 attack, can pretty much win me the duel on one turn if they have 0 defense. And pretty much what this is saying, it can only be destroyed with battle. It's an amazing card. Next, Return of the Dragon Lords, aka Gospel of Revival. I can target one level 7 or 8 dragon type monster in my graveyard and special summon it. If a dragon type monster I control will be destroyed with a battle, or by card effect I can banish this card from my graveyard instead. Normally I would run 3 of these, but this is a roleplay so I want to have a bit of variety, so I've got Silver's Cry instead of Gospel of Revival, and that should be there. Next, Silver's Cry. I can target one dragon type normal monster in my graveyard, special summon that target, and if I do, I can only activate Silver's Cry once per turn. Bring up Blue Eyes. Normally that would be a Return of the Dragon Lords. Next, Ancient Rules. I can special summon one level 5 or higher normal monster from my hand. Blue Eyes. The Fang of Critias. Now, normally I would run 2 or 3 of these, but this is a roleplay and I only have one Fang of Critias in this series, as I am one of the 9 chosen new Dragon Lords. So one of the 9 chosen by one of the legendary dragons. This card is also treated as the legendary Dragon Critias. I can send one trap card from my hand, or my side of the field, or to the graveyard that's listed on a fusion monster that can only be special summoned with the Fang Critias. If that card is set, reveal it. Then special summon the fusion monster from the extra deck. You can only activate one Fang of Critias per turn. So now these work with Mirror Force, Tyrant Wing, or Crush Card Virus. And this can bring out Tyrant Burst Dragon, Mirror Force Dragon, or Doom Virus Dragon. My personal favourite is Doom Virus Dragon, as it acts like the anime version of Crush Card Virus. Next, Regeki. I destroy opponent's monsters. Simple as that. Melody of Awakening Dragon. 2 of these. Discard 1 card, add up to 2 dragon type monsters with 3000 attack or attack and 2500 defense or less from the deck to the hand. Easily to get out Blue Eyes Dragon and Blue Eyes Alternative. Now those 2 to my hand, get Alternative straight out, or if I've got a Blue Eyes already, I get Alternative and Chaos Max. And then thanks to this, if I've got Chaos form in my hand, I can get that out quite easily because I've just added another one of these to my hand. And there's 2 of those. Pot of Greed, draw 2 cards. Pot of Cupidity, also known as Pot of Desires. I banish the top 10 cards from my deck face down and draw 2 cards. I can only activate 1 Pot of Desires per turn. Now I would only activate this if I've already got Return to Different Dimension in my hand, as I can get those 5 of those 10 banished monsters back until the end phase. It's very useful if I'm in a tight situation and need to get a quick win. Next is Dragon's Mirror. I banish from my side of the field to the graveyard the fusion material monsters that are listed on the dragon type fusion monster, and special summon that fusion monster from my extra deck. Now this I would normally use with 5-headed dragon, because I've got lots of dragons here. If I have 5 of those in the graveyard, 5-headed dragon. 3 of those will most likely get there quite quickly as well. Next is Foolish Burial. I can send 1 monster from the deck to the graveyard. Works well with Dragon's Mirror and to get out a Blue Eyes White Dragon at the end turn. Monster Reborn. Bring back a Blue Eyes Lost or an Ancient White Stone if I want to get Blue Eyes back from the graveyard or from my deck. Already explained Chaos Form. Wonder Wand. Works really well with Maiden type, so it increases the attack by 500. Book of Moon can save me from 1 attack that my opponent makes by putting their monster to face down defense position, and that might help to destroy it later on if it's got a weak defense. Also works for Maiden because it targets it, however it makes Maiden vulnerable next turn. Forbidden Lance, again it can lower the attack of my opponent's monster, which can make it an easy win for me if it's quite a powerful monster or just a bit powerful, more powerful than the Blue Eyes White Dragon I've got, or Felgrand. Also it can target Maiden to get Blue Eyes White Dragon out, and Maiden's already got 0 attack, so it won't hurt her in any way at all. 2 Twin Twisters. Discard 1 card, 1 of those, and then I can destroy up to 2 spell or trap cards my opponent has and destroy them. So 2 of those there. Cards of Reconnaissance. I discard 1 dragon type tuner monster with 1000 or less attack to draw 2 cards. And that will sort its Monster Reborn, bring that back, use that to get 2 cards. Light Mausoleum. Now this is very, very helpful for me here, because during the main phase I can normal summon 1 level light tuner monster in addition to my normal summon set. So I could bring So I could special summon Maiden, or normal summon Maiden, and then I can also normal summon Bright Star Dragon. That will target, get Blue Eyes out straight away. I can only gain the effect, this effect once per turn. Also once per turn I can target one face-up monster I control, and send one normal monster from my hand or deck to the graveyard, and if I do, target monster gains attack and defense equal to the level of the monster sent to the graveyard times 100. Again, target Maiden, brings up Blue Eyes, until the end of this turn. Even if this card leaves the field, I can banish this card from the graveyard, add one Burst Stream of Destruction. I don't need Burst Stream of Destruction, I've got Blue Eyes alternative. Oh, for God's sake, I keep accidentally right-clicking. Dragon Ravine. Okay, Dragon Ravine. Once per turn, during my main phase, I can discard one card to activate one of these effects. I don't have Dragonuity monsters, so that won't be needed, but I can send one Dragon-type monster from my deck to the graveyard, into my stone. Mirror Force, destroys all monsters if my opponent doesn't attack. Tyrant Wing. Target one Dragon-type monster on the field, equip this card to it. It gains 400 attack and defense. Also, it can make up to 2 attacks on monsters. It can also make up to 2 attacks on monsters during each battle phase. During the end phase, if the monster equipped to this card by this card effect attacked on a monster, destroy this card. Mainly I'm going to be using that to get out Tyrant Burst Dragon, but it can also get me out of a tight situation. Crush Card Virus. I'm using the anime version of Crush Card Virus here. Tribute one Dark Monster with 1,000 or less attack. That's Protect the Shrine, Sangun, or one of my 3 Cats via alignment. It allows me to check all monsters my opponent controls and in my opponent's hand, and all cards they draw until the end of my opponent's 3rd turn after this card's activation, and destroy all monsters with 1,500 attack or more. Very useful. Bottomless Trap Hole. If a monster summons or special summons if my opponent's If my opponent normal summons or special summons a monster with 1,500 or more attack, I get to destroy that monster and then banish it instead of sending it to the graveyard. Scrapland Scarecrow. Stops an attack once per turn, and instead of being destroyed, it gets set back to face down position. Castle Dragon Souls again works well with Maiden. Once per turn, I can banish one Dragon-type monster from my graveyard, then target one monster I control, Maiden. Again, 700 attack until the end phase. It can also get me out of a tight situation by boosting the attack of one of my more powerful monsters. Even after this card leaves the field, the monster becomes unaffected by card effects. When this face-up card on the field is sent to the graveyard, I can target one of my banished monsters and special summon it. I can also only control one Castle Dragon Souls. And return from a different dimension, I pay half my life points to special summon as many of my removed from play monsters as possible. During the end phase, remove from play all monsters that were special summoned by this effect. It can be useful to get me to a quick victory if needed. As in my extra deck, I have 5-headed Dragon, Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, Neo Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, Blue Eyes Twin Burst Dragon. Oh yeah, I should actually explain what they do. 5-headed Dragon can only be destroyed by a light monster, or by card effects. Neo Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. It's like Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, but with an added effect. It can make a lot of attacks in a row, so long as I send to the graveyard Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon or Blue Eyes Twin Burst. It's got to be a Blue Eyes Fusion monster that I send to the graveyard. Tyrant Burst Dragon. Oh sorry, Blue Eyes Twin Burst Dragon. Ultimate only has a high attack, that's all. Blue Eyes Twin Burst Dragon must either be fusion summoned or special summoned by sending the above monsters I control to the graveyard, so it can be a contact fusion. That is where I don't use polymerization to fuse. It cannot be special summoned by other ways, it cannot be destroyed by battle. This card can make up to 2 attacks on monsters during each battle phase. At the end of the damage step, when this card attacks an opponent's monster, but the opponent's monster was not destroyed, by battle I can banish that opponent's monster instead. Again, can get me out of a tight situation. Dog is barking, that's annoying. Can get me out of a tight situation because I can attack a more powerful monster. This won't be destroyed. It will cost me life points, but I can banish it. Tyrant Burst Dragon. Must be special summoned with the Fang of Critias, using Tyrant Wing, and cannot be special summoned in other ways. This card can attack all monsters my opponent controls once each. I can target one face-up monster I control, equip this card to that target, it gains 400 attack and defense, also it can make up to 3 attacks during each battle phase. Mirror Force Dragon. must be special summoned with the Fang of Critias using Mirror Force, and cannot be special summoned by other ways. When a monster I control is targeted for an attack or by an opponent's card effect, except during the damage step, I can destroy all cards my opponent controls. It's like Mirror Force, but so much better. Doom Virus Dragon, basically like Crush Card Virus. I again need the Fang Critias Crush Card Virus to fuse. If this card is special summoned, check all opponents' hands, all monsters they control, and all cards they draw until the end of their third turn. After this effect's activation, destroy all of those monsters with 1500 or more attack. Azure Silver Dragon. When this card is special summoned, dragon type monsters I currently control cannot be targeted or destroyed by card effects until the end of the next turn. Once per turn, during my standby phase, I can target one normal monster in my graveyard and special summon it. Basically, I can get Blue Eyes back in my standby phase if it's sent to the grave. Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon. Neither player can special summon 2 or more monsters at the same time. Once per turn during either player's turn, when an effect of a card in the graveyard is activated, I can negate that activation. And during either player's turn, I contribute this synchro summoned card to special summon one light dragon type synchro monster from my extra deck, Azure Eyes. Accept Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon, but destroy it during the end phase. Azure Eyes will stop that from happening thanks to its effect. Ignore that one. Divine Dragon Knight Felgrand. Once per turn, during either player's turn, I can detach 1 XE material from this card, then target one face-up monster on the field. This turn, its effects are negated, but it's unaffected by other card effects. That should be there. No, that should be there. There we go. Number 62, Galaxy Eyes Prime Photon Dragon. If this card attacks or is attacked during the damage calculation in either player's turn, I can detach 1 XE material from this card once per battle. This card gains the attack equal to the combined ranks of all XE monsters currently on the field, times 200. During that damage calculation only. If this card in its owner's control would be destroyed by an opponent's card effect, while it has a Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon as an XE material, I don't have Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon. It can special summon this card during the standby phase. After activation, any battle damage lower the card inflicts to opponent's monster is halved, and so has Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon as an XE material. Next, number 95, Galaxy Eyes Dark Matter Dragon. 3 level 9 monsters, but I can also summon this card by using a Galaxy Eyes XE monster I control as the XE material. XE materials attached to that monster also become XE materials on this card. It cannot be used as an XE material for an XE summon. When this card is XE summoned, I can send 3 dragon type monsters. These 3. Oh no, with different names, so that one, and it will probably be one of these 2, or both of those 2 if they're both in the deck. Again, it will help to get them out quicker and use their effects. I can send 3 dragon type monsters with different names from my deck to the graveyard. My opponent banishes 3 monsters from the deck. It can detach 1 XE material from this card. This card can make up to 2 attacks on monsters during each battle phase this turn. Thunder End Dragon. Once per 2 level 8 normal monsters, so 2 of them are Blue Eyes. I can detach 1 XE material from this card to destroy all other monsters on the field, and then I can attack my opponent directly for an easy and quick win. Dark Rebellion XE Dragon. I can detach 2 XE materials from this card, then target 1 face-up monster my opponent controls. Its attack becomes half its current attack, and if it does, this card gains that lost attack. Side deck. My second Sage, my third Maiden, first of the Dragons, and then I got the anime versions of the Fang of Critias monsters. In case for some reason for story plot I need to switch them out real quick. They're still the same cards, so it's okay. Another Azure Eyes, another Blue Spirit Dragon, Armida's Keep of Illusions, another Dark Rebellion, Legend of the Heart and all that, Ruins of the Great Divine Dragon, another Light Mausoleum, and Mausoleum of the Emperor. Actually, that can't be in this because that's for story stuff. Ignore that as well. And the non-anime version of Crush Card Virus. Something else I need to talk to you guys about is some of the plot for the series. Initially, everyone can only control 1 number monster unless they win it off an opponent. As number monsters, I found out in our series, if a duelist chooses a number monster, that number monster becomes their soul, whereas in the anime, it just enhances their will to want to do something. As I found out from the comment section, I think that's how it goes. I haven't watched that yet, I am planning on it, so I get a better idea of how XEs work. But yeah, in this series, they become the soul of the person using it. Unless that person has a strong will, in which case they can keep the XD monster's will from taking over. But as soon as someone becomes unconscious, as you saw in the end of my series, that number becomes their soul. Anyway, you'll find out more about that in the series. This was just my deck sort of reveal for the next series. I really hope you enjoyed it, and if you do, or if you did even, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next chapter.